Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Today we're going to be playing with another flavor of Painter. We're going to be attempting to play a mono black Painter deck list. So, somewhat oddly, mono black decks have started doing well in Legacy. As it turns out, a main deck card like Dauthi Voidwalker that hates on graveyards, combined with Leyline of the Void from the sideboard, can often end up really messing with major decks in the format, like Blue-Red's ability to work with their graveyard as a resource, neutering the power of cards like Dragon Rage Channeler and Murktide Regent. When you combine this with Opposition Agent, which can be fueled out on turn 1 via a Dark Ritual, you can actually do some kind of broken things. And if you support this with some other broken things of some kind, you can piece together a pretty reasonable deck. I've gotten some complaints about the amount of Urza's Saga on this channel. Folks, for those of you who haven't heard this from me directly before, Urza's Saga is often the glue that is holding together non-blue decks in Legacy, just like cards like Ponder and Brainstorm and Preordain hold together the blue decks. You just kind of need something to give you that extra consistency and power, and Urza's Saga is that thing for a lot of decks in Legacy, similar to how cards like Ragavan, Uro, Oko, Deathrite Shaman, Sensei's Divining Top have been in the past. So, we have a couple other combos in this deck list. We have the Painter's Servant Grindstone combo, which allows you to turn everything into a color of your choice, and then infinitely mill out your opponent. And we have either Leyline of the Void plus Dauthi Voidwalker, both of which prevent cards from going to the graveyard, and the Helm of Obedience combo, where activating Helm of Obedience for X equals 1 with one of those two cards in plays also infinitely mills out your opponent. One potential weakness of this deck list is how much cards like Null Rod, Collector Oof, and Stony Silence do to shutting this down. Because they'll not only shut down the Painter's Servant Grindstone combo, they'll also shut down the Leyline Helm combo as well. So that's something to keep in mind. When that happens, we can still just win with Construct tokens or Dauthi Voidwalker or something like that. It won't be a total lights out, but it's tough. The original version of this deck list had a few cards different in it. There were a couple of cute things that I trimmed. So for example, there was a 1 of Aether Vial, but there's only 16 creatures in this deck, which is really kind of pushing it to actually be an Aether Vial deck. I get that it can do some really gross things and give you some surprise blowouts, but I didn't think that was good enough. I'm also unsure about Wishclaw Talisman. It's super fucking cheeky, and I respect it. I'm unsure if it's good, but I respect it. The idea being that you can use Wishclaw Talisman as your one-sided demonic tutor if you have an opposition agent in play. Is it Profane Tutor? Is the Suspend 2 tutor? I imagine Profane Tutor would look pretty good in this deck list as well, just as another way to find your Painter's Servant. And I almost made that change, but I figured this was a cute enough interaction that I wanted to try it out and kind of see how it plays. And at the end of the day, Wishclaw Talisman is still an artifact, which matters for Metalcraft for Mox Opal and your construct count for Urza's Saga. As far as the sideboard, in the Donor's original version, there were a couple of Plague Engineers in here. I've just cut them for Sudden Edicts. That card has just really overperformed for me in these mono black shells. I've been super impressed by its ability to just, like, kill something in Delver and not be counterable. The last thing I want to say here is, generally speaking, I don't think Mindbreak Trap is good in this deck. However, I have gotten paired against so much all-in fast combo right now in my leagues. The all-access tokens are live, meaning people are trying out all sorts of Belcher, Oops All Spells, Reanimator, and other turbo combo decks like that. So while normally, like if you play this a month from now, maybe consider Thorn of Amethyst or something like that into those slots, I think for today, Mindbreak Trap is a reasonable metagame call. Like, air quotes metagame call, like reasonable league metagame call, I guess is a better way to word that. Yeah, I think let's go ahead and hop into the leagues here, see how it goes, see if we can get some Bob-inspired goodness going on the channel. If you're new here and you like what you see, please consider subscribing. There's fun, janky deck lists like this 7 days a week. And if you're a regular, please throw me a like before this video begins. It's the easiest way to support my content for free. Let's battle. Okay, I have 4 mana on turn 1. I am on the draw. Is that keep? Its mana's not stable. How many lands do I have? Or maybe more accurately, how many mana sources? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, kind of 26, 27, 28 mana sources. Yeah, that's fine. Too many windows here. I'll keep that. You know, we're at greater than 50% to draw another mana source in a single draw. I would love this hand so much more on the play though. Like Urborg, Thoughtseize, take a Force of Will type effect. Dark Ritual, Opposition Agent is a batshit insane turn 1. We'll see what my opponent's doing. That's an unfair land. Opposition Agent is probably going to be really fucking good. Like, I expect to be playing against, like, some sort of Storm or Doomsday style deck after seeing Underground Sea pass. Another Painter. Not exactly fantastic. I'm going to start with a Thoughtseize here. I'll take your Force of Will. Double fetch land there? Yeah. Hell yeah. And I am just going to stick this now and not risk it at all. Just slam the Opposition Agent now. Like, I just want to shut off both of these guaranteed. Turn 1 wins in mono black. Alright, so I don't know which degenerate sort of combo deck my opponent is playing. There is some chance they are like a Grixis control deck or something, but I think I'm going to bring in the Leyline Helm combo and probably Mindbreak Trap as well. Let's just try to be fucking hateful. Maybe board out Bobs. Maybe board out Pithing Needle. Boundary Shadow Spear. And then it's 4 more cuts if I want all of this stuff. I think I still want the Mindbreak Traps. Like, it's possible Mindbreak Trap is overboarding. Because this could be like Blue-Black Reanimator. Or that's not going to be great. I could also board out a combo of some kind. Right, like I could opt to board out Painter combo for Leyline Helm combo. If I don't play Mindbreak Traps, then this is like the play that leaves me with the highest density. I didn't see any rituals in my opponent's hand, but I didn't see much of anything in their hand, right? So, like, there's that. Let's try this. I'm really on the fence about the Mindbreak Traps. This Goldfish is very quickly. I will keep this. So I start with a Leyline, and I just have turn 1 Urza Saga into a turn 3 kill. No shuffle with the Ponder. There's Urza Saga. There's Petal. I'll just play out this stuff now because of discard. Mox Opal not on yet. There's a Painter. Paint it black. I think we'll paint it black. And now we just see if our opponent can bully us. We do have to figure out what they are. Like, Doomsday is a very good possibility. It doesn't have to be Doomsday, though. It is Doomsday. I can just top deck a Grindstone and win. Okay, it is the Personal Tutor Go Fast version. There is a Daze in here. Alright, looks like my opponent does have to pass the turn. Ooh. Just going second main, actually. Okay, I just drew Urborg, which is not great. So my opponent presumably can kill me this turn. I'll bash in for 1 here. But I believe my opponent should kill every time from this position. Like, they can just cycle a couple of Street Wraiths and go to town that way. Wow. That's your best line? Wild. I can't punish it with a Sudden Edict or anything, but normally you don't want to play a line like that. Alright, so now let's think about Mindbreak Trap. So now that I know my opponent is Doomsday, I don't necessarily have to play this combo as well. I'm also on the play where, like, Dark Ritual into Opposition Agent is really strong. This is 55 cards. I can play the Bobs again. I don't think I'm supposed to play towards that Sudden Edict kill. I can, like, play one Helm for Dauthi Voidwalker kills, or I can just, like, play a Pithing Needle for Polluted Delta. Which isn't crazy. It's not good. It's just another early artifact. I think the last card that I play doesn't matter too much. Although, actually, the Helms are sort of interesting just for fucking with the top of my opponent's library. Hadn't thought about it that way. That's so slow, though. Is it something like this, where I play the Helms and just, like, make Leyline the 5th copy of Voidwalker? I don't want to cut any artifact mana. I don't really want to cut the Painter package, because it's just, like, my fastest Goldfish. Maybe Wishclaw Talisman is too slow. I just play another one like this. Very unsure about sideboarding. That's weird. If I draw a black mana source, this just kills on turn 2. Just writ Helm kill. Otherwise, it plays the Urza Saga Ancient Tomb game until turn 3, at which point I fetch up Mox Opal. Mox Opal will be turned on, and then I just go writ Helm. This is a really hard to evaluate hand. Because this isn't better than just, like, Dark Ritual Opposition Agent, but it's very interesting, and it has a lot of live draws, including Painters. Alright. Very, very strange opening hand. Alright. There are worlds where opponent can just go, like, Dark Ritual Doomsday, and things get scary. Alright, Personal Tutor for Doomsday on top. Next turn can be very scary. I guess next turn would have to involve a Lotus Petal. Or Dark Ritual. It's a Mox Opal. So I don't have Metalcraft this turn, unfortunately. If I activate this... yeah, so I'm chilling. I've got to kill next turn. Let's see if I get a next turn. Like, there's a lot of worlds where I don't. Okay, there's the Petal, so Doomsday is very possible. Alright, there's the Doomsday. Now, opponent did not play around Mindbreak Trap there, which I think they should have. I think their sequencing is Dark Ritual into Doomsday, resolve Doomsday, then do Lotus Petal stuff. Although, there's worlds where that's not true, where they want the Doomsday to get Mindbreak trapped instead of another card. Opponent's got really fucked up piles to think about, because I can also just get, like, a Grindstone with Urza Saga and just sit on that. So, like, that's a thing. Alright, opponent goes down to 9. Depending on what they have in hand, it is possible for them to win from this situation as well. Yeah, that's horrifying. The Consider piles are not viable with Leyline of the Void in play, although I didn't see Consider last time around. Okay. Now it needs to be, like, Lotus Petal into Cantrip. Okay, that works too. Okay. Yeah, that leaves my opponent with exactly 2 mana. 0 cards in library for Thassa's Oracle. Well, damn. We were just short. Yeah, I had the kill on my turn. They had it on their turn. Still unsure whether or not I should have mulliganed that one. Like, didn't do the math on it. The Ancient Tombs don't count. These don't count. So that was 11 hits. No. That was 14 hits for a turn 1. And, like, 2 turns towards drawing that being reasonable as well. I think the keep's fine. It's not, like, one of my best possible hands, but it's pretty good. Got a bit of an awkward round 2 opening hand here. I have turn 1 Painter, a Mox Opal. That doesn't quite get turned on to play turn 2 Dauthi Voidwalker. Hand is, like, an awkward 6 if I just look at these cards, so I think I still just mulligan it. Yeah, this is going to be a keep. I have to decide what goes back. Turn 1, Painter, Ancient Tomb, Mox Opal, Lotus Petal, Bob? Throw back like Dauthi Voidwalker here and just assume the rest of this does some cute shit. The Elvzen? Maybe not Elvzen. Also, do I just like hold up Opposition Agent? Maybe I just hold up Opposition Agent against basic Forest as a start. Like, I always do Painter's Servant. Everything's black. Opal's on. I can just play out Bob and pass, but I think the surprise of end of turn Opposition Agent from here is just too good. Oh, I want it so bad. Pass? Alright. I legitimately don't know what my opponent is doing then. I guess we'll find out. I'll turn some cards sideways. But it's very confusing. Ow. I maybe don't play two of these. Like, since Ancient Tomb is my land currently. It's very hard for me to tell, though, because, like, I legitimately don't know what my opponent is playing. If they had a keepable hand and then just went Forest pass 2 turns in a row. Or maybe I just completely shut them down with that Opposition Agent. Okay. So, Bob happens. Finding Lotus Petal Relic. Sure. Play that out. Fine with playing out a Relic immediately. It would be fine trading Bob for an Ice Fang Coatl. That just feels okay to me on this board state. Alright. Just pass? I think just pass. No Brainstorm or anything. Oh? There's some spice on the other side of the battlefield, folks. This is a 0-2 innately. It is a 0-2 innately. Thoughtseize is great. Let's crash in with all of this. My opponent can block the Painter for free. That's fine. Take 5, go to 5. Thoughtseize you, get a feel for what's happening over there. Ah, what is this card? So my opponent has Swift Reconfiguration, yet infinite mana. Not a lot to do with said infinite mana. I think I just take their Karn here. Onride is kind of a wild choice. Actually, opponent doesn't even have white mana here. Take the Karn. Alright. I have my opponent gunk a card from their graveyard there. I think I'm actually going to crack this right now. Like, I know my opponent has an Eternal Witness, but yeah. But there's some lines that just kill right now if I draw well. And Grindstone is one of them. Yep, and there is the concession. Alright, we are playing against Swift Reconfiguration deck. Opponent has Eternal Witness and Karn. Reasonable that opponent will have a Green Sun package. I think the Painter Grindstone combo is just going to be better than the Helm of Obedience combo. I don't think I want Leylines that much here. I think I want Sudden Edict to interact with their creatures, and that's it. Wishclaw Talisman is probably cuttable. Voidwalkers beyond that? Retrofitter Foundry is probably too slow to matter in this matchup. I maybe trim 2 Voidwalkers. Plan on winning this one with Painter combo or Construct tokens after disrupting the opponent somehow. People were really hot on Swift Reconfiguration when it first got printed, and then it kind of did nothing in the format, so like I'm excited to see people messing around with it. Oh, I guess I didn't explicitly explain this. Devoted Druid plus Swift Reconfiguration results in you getting infinite mana, because Swift Reconfiguration turns the Devoted Druid into a vehicle, at which point, when it's not crewed, it doesn't matter that it has a billion -1/-1 counters on it. Yeah, this is a fine opening hand. Land, Shadowspear, Petal, Mox, Bob is a turn 1 line that I have. Though I might just Thoughtseize on 1. Really depends on what my opponent does with their mana. Like, if opponent doesn't accelerate, I just name Grindstone, just in the dark. It does. Ooh. Ancient Tomb, Opal Petal, 1 floating, 3 total mana, Bob, Thoughtseize. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Shadowspear. Petal. Opal, which is turned on. Thoughtseize you. Pernicious Deed and Abrupt Decay. I'll take the Pernicious Deed. That's too much splash damage in this matchup. We're both going to be top decking here. I think I still have enough mana where I'm fine just doing this and, like, forcing my opponent to use the Abrupt Decay now. It means that they can't get anything else on board for their turn proper. This is the sort of situation where, like, having a companion that I could just throw in my hand would be nice. Alright, there's the Bayou for the Abrupt Decay on the Bob. Alright. So, we're both out of gas. Alright, there's Painter's Servant. Everything's black. And we'll get this equipped to the Painter Servant and kind of do some anemic beats for a few turns until I draw something cooler to do. That just, like, raw Pithing Needle was a little rough. See what opponent can do. Alright. Suppose there's potentially cards like Karn that are going to shut off Painter Grindstone combo and Helm of Obedience combo. That are a little spooky. Opponent drops to 17 here. I regain a little life. Everything is black again. I don't think I'll move this over here. I don't think that's just randomly worth the life to hedge against some random flash creature there. Alright, opponents just got lands here. Ooh. 4 mana could be Karn, or a green sun for X equals 3. There's white mana. So, like, I haven't seen red from opponent yet, but they've got some big scary stuff. Yeah, it's a Karn. They can just bully my Mox Opal if they'd like. Or they can just tutor up something that's relevant immediately. Okay, they're just essentially unattaching Swift Spear, which is reasonable. Alright. We'll see if Karn kind of goes all the way here. Karn's very good against what I have going on. I've got a Sudden Edict. So there's worlds where opponent plays a creature trying to protect this Karn, and I can kind of get in there. But I could get Ensnaring Bridge locked. Okay, that's just another land. Yeah, Karn is just junking my Opal. I will make progress on attacking this Karn down. That's a real rough top deck for me. So I can Edict that token out of the way and get attacks in on one of these Planeswalkers, but that's not great for me. I think I probably need to keep pressuring the Karn. But this is a problem situation for me for sure. Right. Attacks at Karn. Karn goes down to 2 loyalty. Karn can plus up to 3 loyalty and just keep me in check, though. And Grist will just continue to make blockers. Right, or what is the wording of this? You may sacrifice a creature. When you do... Okay, so in response to Grist's minus, I believe I can Sudden Edict away the Dryad Arbor. Because the Dryad Arbor is not done as part of costs, I believe. Or, sorry, I should say the sacrifice is not done as part of cost, it's part of the ability. Ooh, opponent is going for the creature instead, unfortunately for me. I'm going to take this opportunity to Sudden Edict them then. More valuable for me to take that Dryad Arbor than the other creature. Yeah, oh god, that's there's multiple Pernicious Deeds in this deck. Alright, is opponent at the point where they get to just Ensnaring Bridge now? Yeah. That's tough for me to beat. Hey. Yeah, just yikes. Like, do I have realistic outs to this? I should just concede if I don't. Like, once that bridge comes down, the Urza Saga and the opposition agents don't really get me to where I need to be anymore. I think I'm comfortable conceding the game to that Ensnaring Bridge. If I had drawn Thoughtseize and I got to take that Ensnaring Bridge, like, that would be super cool. Okay. So, Karn's an issue. I would like the full playset of Dauthi Voidwalkers in to help deal with the Karn hands. Take out a Relic, it's bad versus Karn. Not great versus Planeswalkers, just generally speaking. Don't know what the last cut is. Shadowspear's Trample is sometimes going to be relevant versus chump blockers for those Planeswalkers. I could see going down a Sudden Edict. Like, it seems like opponent is more on a control deck right now than a like a full-on combo deck. Like, they might have fully boarded out of their combo. My deed is not built to, sorry, my deck is not built to beat Pernicious Deed. I'm super nervous about that card in multiples. So this hand is probably a keep, and the question is, like, am I going for turn 2 Bob or just, like, trying to ride Urza's Saga? Unsure. Both lines kind of suck versus Deed, because, like, these are artifacts and enchantments. I think I'm going to lead on Saga. Saga just allows me to top deck a Painter and get a fast kill. Mana's never perfect in these, like, colorless/colored decks. Fuck me. Just raw Pithing Needle again for the second game in a row. They probably name Urza's Saga, but then I can just, like, fetch Grindstone, and again, Painter becomes very, very, very good as a draw. Yeah, they are shutting off the Grindstone for... Or sorry, they're shutting off the Urza Saga for the short term. So I will start going this route. And we'll kind of see where things go. Painter is a sick draw. I'm so scared of Pernicious Deed from my opponent, though. Fuck me, that takes my black mana. That's horrific. Come on, Bob. Fuck me. Alright. I float a mana here. What a disaster of an opener for me. Pernicious Deed? Probably. Alright. Do that. Do this. 3 total mana. Painter Servant. Everything's black. 1 mana. Grindstone. I will bash in with Bob. Opponent absolutely cannot block here. They cannot let me have this onboard Painter plus Grindstone thing. So that's fine. I'm good if I draw a black mana before my opponent gets another creature in play. That's very much not guaranteed, though. Sylvan Library. Alright, so we've both got a major source of card advantage here. Come on, Swamp. Yes. That is basically Swamp. That's good. That's very, very, very good. Play a Lotus Petal as well. Sudden Edict opponent. Gets rid of Collector Oof. And I'll attempt a Grindstone kill, because this will be 3 mana. Yeah, and opponent realizes that and concedes, and we win the match. I feel really good to have won that match. Like, opponent's deck scared me. Like, in game 1, we kind of just, like, thought seized them, took the relevant thing from their hand and killed them. But in games 2 and 3, I had, like, so much shit to deal with. Ugh, that's a hard-fought 1-1. Okay, we're looking at a no-lander here. Let me go ahead and just mulligan this one. Yeah, I think I keep this. On the player draw. On the draw. I think I pitch 1 Thoughtseize, but it's possible I'm trying to, like, wiggle into a situation where I can just Mox Opal double Thoughtseize or something. This hand goldfishes exceptionally quickly, just by the way. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think I just still play Urza Saga on 1. I can play Ancient Tomb Painter on turn 1 instead. I think I just like this. Yeah. Open that up to a Daze, because I don't actually care about this card. That's fine. The next turn I have Ancient Tomb, Mox Opal. And I can decide whether or not I'm actually playing Painter next turn. There's worlds where I do and worlds where I don't. Sure, this is going to be Brainstorm with a Shuffle. It means I'm not getting Wastelanded, which is very good for me. So I'd like to cast Thoughtseize. Ooh, that's a pretty good draw. Ancient Tomb. Mox Opal. I think I go ahead and do this. And turn on Mox Opal this way. And then cast this Dark Ritual. I'm not trying to win this game as quickly as possible. Daze is totally fine. The unfortunate thing here is that, like, this construct is a 3/3, so it can be lightning bolted right now. But the game is not about these constructs. The game is about the Painter Servant that's in my hand. So, like, there's that. Yeah, that's okay. Ponder's fine. So then on my turn, I can Thoughtseize into a Painter's Servant and try to activate for the kill the fuck me. Okay. If I don't play around days, I can jam this turn. I think I just want to play this more patiently. Thoughtseize my opponent, try to actually resolve my cards. I'll just take the days here. 2 mana, Painter's Servant. Everything's black. Crash in with my 4/4. My opponent has to hold up Brazen Borrower or they die, unless they draw a Lightning Bolt effect. They do hold up Brazen Borrower. I'm just fine. I bulk. This is also just like a suit. What? You're literally dead for doing that. Yeah. Alright. Ball. Yeah, seems like this just kills. There's Dark Ritual. Oh, that does give my opponent to Brazen Borrower while it's safe. Actually, this isn't going to matter, is it? Yeah, they have one unknown card here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Second Dark Ritual. Painter's Servant. The last card has to be force for that play. Like, your unknown card has to be force for that play to make sense. Well, sure. Everything's black. Grindstone. Target you. Mill you out. Crash in for 4 for good measure. Opponent should have conceded and not shown me their entire deck. Opponent has the Mystic Sanctuaries, which are pretty stock. Flex slots, looks like Unholy Heat and Predict. No Delvers showing here. It's Dragon Rage Channelers, Murktide Regents. That's fine. Alright, I'm gonna board in probably 12 cards here. The Helm of Obedience combo is just very strong here. What is coming out? I'll Pithing Needle Wasteland. I'm fine with Relic. I'm fine with Retrofitter. Well, Retrofitter is actually kind of medium. It's kind of slow. I don't really need opposition agents in this matchup. I can choose to board out the Painter Grindstone combo if I'd like. I have so many cards for this matchup. I also just, like, could not. Like, I could go down on Bob's and just say, like, I have Painter Grindstone and Leyline Dauthi Voidwalker Helm. And a bunch of Sudden Edicts. Yeah, like, I can go down some number of Bobs and Thoughtseizes and play this approach. Yeah, okay. Miser's Thoughtseize. Miser's Thoughtseize. So Meltdown is going to be the big sideboard card that I have to worry about. And it's kind of whatever. I probably still keep it. Like, I'm just going to have stable mana this game and a lot of really good top decks. Yeah. Play a Petal now. Immediately lead on Pithing Needle. Prompting the fetch from my opponent so that I don't just Pithing Needle their onboard Scalding Tarn. We're going to name Wasteland. Then play a Mox Opal out. Tap that for some blue mana for some spice and get Grindstone going. Alright, it has resolved. So then I can potentially play double Dauthi Voidwalker next turn if I want to. And there is a cute interaction we can do where, like, I Grindstone my opponent with Dauthi Voidwalker in play. Ooh. Opponent is on a single land here. So that's a thing. I think I'm going to play around Daze this game. Force of Will, pitching Murktide Regent. Yeah, I'm going to play this other Dauthi Voidwalker around Daze. It just feels to me like Daze is a card that is likely in my opponent's hand, because they kept a one-lander without another... Okay, no, it does have another cantrip. But they didn't just, like, fire off a cantrip immediately, so it just, like, felt to me like they might have Daze, like, trying to use Daze to get their second land drop functional. Sure. I'll hold that in hand because of Meltdown specifically. Long pause from the opponent here. Yeah, that's a Brainstorm that, like, potentially Brainstorm locked themselves, like, They just like brainstormed into another brainstorm, which isn't really what you want to be doing with your resources. Okay. Yeah, let's see if opponent wants to like lightning bolt my shadow creature in combat. The answer is no. In which case I will cast a Lotus Petal into a Painter's Servant. Everything's black. I'll pass the turn. And now at any point, I can threaten to kill my opponent by activating Grindstone. When they're constrained on mana, this is brutal. Like, I am going to force them to just discard a card here. Fishclaw Talisman, nice. I can also just play a Murktide Regent. I don't think I want to do that, but I can. Yeah, I'll just punch my opponent. That's fine. Don't have double Grindstone up, which would be cool. So I will just go ahead and play this out. Pass the turn. And again, opponent cannot tap this land or they are guaranteed dead. Alright, that's fine. So this is not actually hitting that many cards. This is just hitting my artifact mana. Like, that will make it worth, like, tapping these. But that's leaving a lot of onboard stuff for me. Alright. I will attempt to Grindstone kill you, and then you're going to Lightning Bolt this. Okay. Everything is black. Everything is not blue. So... yeah. I think I'm gonna go ahead and go for some attacks here. Yeah. And this is why you don't name blue in this matchup. Like, you can name blue if you're playing your own blasts to destroy things, but otherwise, like, just name an irrelevant color. You want to avoid blue because of Force of Will and Force of Negation, and you probably want to avoid red too, because Fury is starting to see a little more legacy play. It's usually in the control decks, but like usually you're pretty safe with naming like black or green. There are fringe situations where like that's not true, but like I avoid blue and red usually. All right, round 4, we're 2-1. I have an awkward hand here. Huge fan of my content. You're in a video. Good luck. I have an awkward hand where I can, like, Dark Ritual, Dauthi Voidwalker, Urza's Saga turn 1, and then I can't really activate the Urza's Saga afterwards. I think this one's awkward enough that it's a mulligan. It's, like, so close. Yeah. Yeah, this is fine. Let's keep this, pitch a Mox Opal here. It's possible I'm supposed to pitch Dark Confidant, though. Alright, Ancient Tomb. I'm just going to go ahead and play Grindstone into Grindstone. I am going to play out this Mox Opal. Or, like, Thorn, Trinisphere, Chalice. Playing that out makes me worse versus Prismatic Ending specifically. Okay, we're playing against an Urza's Saga deck of some kind. Into a Spellbomb, absolutely. So we're probably playing against... well, the most likely deck is like a Kappa 8-cast deck. There are other things that can play Aether Spellbomb as like an Urza Saga tutor target, but like it's a pretty likely thing that could happen. Lotus Petal. That means I'm going to try both of these spells this turn, and the question is like in which order. I think I'm playing Bob as my bait spell. Because, like, this is a powerful enough card that you probably force it. Okay, it resolved, so I will take this opportunity to try and resolve Painter. Alright. We're painting it black today. So now I have 3 mana for Grindstone, and this is going to be a similar situation to last game, where if opponent does not have blue mana open, they just die. And this may let me mine a huge amount of value out of my opponent's Urza Saga. Okay, there is blue mana, so opponent is not just guaranteed dead. But opponent is not getting their Urza Saga tokens that they want. And I just get more mana. Dark Ritual into Dark Ritual. Does that just mean I win? Dark Ritual, Dark Ritual. Yeah, I think that just means I win. So I'll crash in for my damage. And I'm not sure that well, if I go for it now, I can replay a Painter if my opponent tries to bounce it. So let's cast that Ritual. And now I'll activate this. Grindstone target you. Paying my mana, and then my opponent bounces here, and then I, in response, Dark Ritual. Yep. Alright. Dark Ritual. Yeah. Activate Grindstone a second time. That was disgusting. Risk Breaker, I'm sorry. That was gross on my end. I love Painter because you get to play all these little traps. Okay, so the question for the post-sideboard games is, like, my opponent has disconnected. I think they're just resetting their game during sideboarding. So the question is, like, do I want to play Sudden Edicts? Sudden Edict is really good against Emery and Kappa and atrocious versus Sai. Opposition Agent is a card that does not matter in this matchup. I'll be taking that out. I will probably board out Relic if I am boarding in Leylines. Like, because I want to make room for these 8. Just have as many fast goldfishes as possible, and then the question is, like, what do I do from there? I think my slots are going to be tight enough that I don't want to play Sudden Edicts in this matchup. Wishclaw Talisman feels slow. That is a question of, like, how good is Thoughtseize? I think I trim some combination of Thoughtseize and Bob for the remaining slots. I don't know, Retrofitter Foundry can probably go. I don't think I'm grinding out a game with that. Maybe do something like this. Yeah, maybe do something like this. 6 total mana kills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm 1 mana from just killing on turn 1. I probably keep this. Alice is pretty good against my hand, unfortunately, though. Alright, sure. That is a Sigh. That resolves. And we'll see how many Thopters my opponent makes. The opponent has 3 cards left. So I might luck out in terms of sneaking my stuff in under counter spells. I'll have Brazen Borrower and Adawara to think about in terms of things that can actually disrupt my combo. That's fine. We'll have 3 cards in hand, one of which is totally random. Alright. So I can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana this turn, which is Painter, Grindstone, and Bob. That sounds good to me. I think I'm going to Petal and Dark Ritual immediately, just see if that gets Force of Willed. It doesn't. In which case, Bob becomes my bait spell that I'll start with. It resolves. Then I'll Painter Servant. Paint it black. Play Grindstone. Oh-ho! This is a turn 2 kill. And opponent doesn't have an awful lot they can do about that. Like, opponent's hand was good, right? Like, that was their turn 1, was Sai, 2 Thopters, have 3 mana in play for the start of their turn 2. Like, that's good. It just, like, might not be good enough. Alright, that is a Thought Monitor. I do not believe they are on any outs from there. I'll take that 2 damage, absolutely. Yeah. Unless they have something crazy like Chain of Vapor. They're just hoping that I don't have the land. There's an extra land drop for me, and I will just activate this immediately. Alright, I put you to the test. I dismember. That'll do. Okay. So, I'm mostly chilling, hoping to draw a new Painter before my opponent aggroes me out now. Alternatively, I can draw a Helm, taking 6 damage this turn. I'm going to die next turn, actually. That's horrifying. It's just... Also, opponent has multiple dismembers, because I milled one with Grindstone as well. Fuck. Yeah, okay. I need Bob to hit some mana, and then also hit a Painter or something like that, but opponent has blue mana up. Oh, there's mana. Yeah, this does not do it. I just die in the air. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the air. Fuck, okay. That'll do. Dismember looking hot for my opponent there. Kinda want one more Dark Confidant. But these Thought Seizes became more important than I thought they were. I probably need Shadow Spear for if I play an Urza Saga game. I probably can't cut that for that next Bob. Maybe 3 Bobs is fine. Uh, Bob becomes a little more awkward with like Helms and Leylines in the deck now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe one Bob goes out for the Wishclaw Talisman. Like maybe that tempo is fine when I am on the play. Alright, good hand, good hand, good hand. I can Thoughtseize and Bob on turn 1 and just like let Bob take the wheel, but I don't think that's better than just mulliganing here. Fuck. No, this doesn't do it. I'm gonna ship this again, unfortunately. 5. On 5, I probably keep this. I probably just play towards a Painter Grindstone win in some capacity here. I think I need this Thoughtseize and this Dark Ritual. So I'm going to go ahead and start like this. And just start on Thoughtseize. Urkel's Recall. Can I beat that card if I just leave it in my opponent's hand? Because their Emery is their good card in this hand. But I probably need to take the Hercules. Because I am looking to vomit this stuff onto the board and then pray, essentially. I would love to just like draw a Soul Land or something. And make all these calculations just so much easier. Alright, there's the Baubles. There's Emery. Fuck, Emery hitting Pithing Needle is so fucking bad for me. Holy shit. What a punish for taking the Hercules. Yikes. Alright. Life's bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This doesn't quite do it. I am going to hold all of these cards in hand and not play anything. I think. In hopes that opponent doesn't Pithing Needle me. Yeah, this Soul Land's really good, but it doesn't get me anywhere this turn. Alright. We'll see if opponent is just going for card draw or if they are going for the Pithing Needle. They are going for the Pithing Needle. Fuck yeah. Now I can hold the Dark Ritual to try to use it for like a Leyline Helm combo or something. Damn it. Got just like max punished by Emery. Yeah, that would have been the kill. I might need to put this Painter's Servant in play, though. Just for the sake of, like, Metalcraft count. I guess if that's happening, I can just, like, play Grindstone, too, right? Like, just throw it all on the table. Mono black, not really great at getting rid of opposing artifacts, unfortunately. And a Dismember on top of that. Sure. Yeah, we're looking for, like, Leyline Helm combo. It's going to be hard for a Dauthi Voidwalker to go all the way versus, like, the raw speed of Urza Saga here. We needed that Emery to miss Pithing Needle and Aether Spellbomb specifically. Wish I had the Painter right now. Alright. That is what it is. I'm going to play Dauthi Voidwalker. I don't... Ugh. Absolutely get no Surd. Finishing the thought. I would have considered grindstoning my opponent if Dauthi Voidwalker resolved in an attempt to get like a Kappa Cannoneer or something that might allow me to take over the game, but that might not be better than just holding for a Helm of Obedience top deck. I'm just dead to next turn. This is just absolutely savage here. The mulligan to 5 like was a very good hand. Beating the Hercules Recall also would have been pretty hard, though, on those resources. Yeah, so, like, we had the resources to go off multiple times if Pithing Needle did not hit Grindstone, but it did. I will concede, and we'll take... Oh, no, that's... I thought that was the end of the league. No, we're 2-2. Still fighting. Okay, this is a case where we have all the mana in the world, but nothing to do with it. This one is an easy mulligan. This one is an easy keep and a very strong Urza Saga hand. Probably pitching the second Ancient Tomb here. The only way this isn't an Urza Saga start is if it looks like Dauthi Voidwalker is going to be an incredibly strong turn 2 play. Which it is. Never mind, we're on the Painter Servant plan. Yeah, absolutely on the Painter Servant plan now. So there's Grindstone. It's resolved, which means this Painter's Servant is very good in the not-too-distant future. That's fine. I will probably try to play around Daze this game and, like, not try to immediately resolve Painter's Servant. Like, that is going to become my endgame inevitability, and I'll start going the Dauthi Voidwalker route in the meantime. Like, I'll use Dauthi Voidwalker as a bait spell for counter magic, and then try to play Painter's Servant around counter magic. Or Dauthi Voidwalker can eat, like, the first Lightning Bolt effect, and that would be fine, too. Opponent got rid of a Lightning Bolt, which is, in my estimation, a rather good card in the matchup. But they may just be trying to get deeper towards counter magic or whatever is going to back this thing up. Oh, I love Lotus Petal as a draw. Do that, because then I get to play Dauthi Voidwalker around Daze this turn, which is very strong. Nice. Got a Murktide Regent for that. So then next turn, I can play Painter's Servant and activate Grindstone in the same turn cycle, which is very strong. I mean, like, obviously it's very strong, right? But I do that around a Daze, which is super important. Oh, nice. Absolutely. I'll take the 2 to have the extra mana here, because this is Painter's Servant and go off around Daze. The opponent needs another Force of Will and another blue card. I mean, I played around that. Such is life. I will not be just randomly grindstoning my opponent because of Murktide Regent and Dragon Rage Channeler and such. These are only attacking for 1. But I have no gas left, and opponent presume. Why are you playing green? You don't need that color. Didn't you get the memo? This card is some fucking shit. So tired of this fucking card. Alright. Here's a Retrofitter Foundry. So it costs me what? 2, 5, 6 mana to make a 1/1 blocker for Murktide Regent. 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's Expressive Iteration, sure. Surveilling some crap into the graveyard, trying to rebuild these. Ponder goes into the exile zone. And opponent will cast that and attempt to. Oh, we're on Uro too. Sure, that's 4 card types. Not great for Phil fans. All of these fly. So this costs me a lot. So make this. Untap this. Sacrifice my Servo to make a 1/1 flyer. And then hope to top deck a Painter to win the game. Alright. Give me some luck here, deck. Thoughtseize. So I'm deterministically dead to these, so I will Thoughtseize for extra information. Take your fucking Uro. Fuck off, Uro. Alright. Concede, dead. Yeah. Fun magic card. I want the Leyline Helm combo here, and I probably play Sudden Edicts as well. The Sudden Edicts are good. So what am I doing here in terms of cuts? And does my opponent have Wasteland still? So, like, do I need the Pithing Needle? I'm gonna assume that they do. Retrofitter Foundry is nice versus Uro, but I have plenty of other things that are going to be nice versus Uro. Let's assume that I can cut this as well. You'll need 6 more cuts. It's probably some number of Thoughtseizes and Dark Confidants again. Opponent's deck is a little slower and has a little bit better ability to grind. If I shut off their graveyard, though, like, most of their deck doesn't function well. I think I'm going to cut the Dark Confidants so that I don't randomly flip this stuff and kill myself, and then go down on Thoughtseizes. Then, like, my last question is, like, is the second Thoughtseize better than the first Retrofitter Foundry? And the answer is probably not. No. This is essentially a 1-card hand. 1 mana, 2 mana, 3 mana, 4 mana. I'll keep this. It's a little awkward, but starting with a Leyline is really strong. I think I'm just going to start on Urborg Pass. Just chill. I don't know that I want to, like, put my opponent into, like, immediate Force of Will check territory. That's fine. That card's not particularly great with Leyline of the Void. Well, there's Urza Saga. There's Petal. There's Petal. 4 mana, Dark Ritual. 1 mana Helm. Okay, there is the Force of Will. Pitching Daze. It's fine. Like, now I can attempt to play an Urza Saga game if I don't get wastelanded. And I can kind of decide what direction to go with the Urza Saga in a couple of turns. My draw step will give me a lot of information about, like, what the play is going to be. If I play out this Lotus Petal, I will control 3 artifacts, making this a 3/3. Playing out the Lotus Petal will make me a little worse versus Meltdown, but would play around, whatchamacallit, Unholy Heat, if my opponent is playing that. Alright, there's a Brainstorm. An opponent topped with both of those Dragon Rage Channeler activations. Very notably. I'll bite. Like, if opponent has the Lightning Bolt type card, like, I'm good with that happening now versus later. Yeah, there it is. Tropical Island gets junked there off one of those. That's fine. Go ahead and activate this. That's a 2/2. Then I've got options. Grindstone's not an immediate kill if I top deck a Painter, right? Have Grindstone in play, 2 mana, 3 mana. No, it's not an immediate kill yet. In that case, I think I'll just grab, like, either a Retrofitter Foundry or a Shadow Spear. Retrofitter Foundry sounds nice, because I can play around Lightning Bolt pretty well that way. It's possible I'm supposed to just immediately activate Retrofitter Foundry for that reason. If that just have the Meltdown. Cool. That's rough. I lost a lot of progress to that, but, like, I am only taking 2 damage a turn. I've got time. Only taking 1 damage a turn. I just tap that for a regular black. Yeah, one damage a turn is forever. But if my opponent has Wastelands, they become very good now, because they can just hit my... Oh, I thought that was going to hit Urborg and try to color screw me. I think Urborg is the better land there. This is the situation in which hitting Ancient Tomb is specifically better. I think since I'm only taking 1 damage, I just hold this until I have another mana source. We'll see, like, if that ends up being correct. Yeah, nice. Now I can play it this turn. If I would have played it last turn, like, I could have a Construct immediately, but, like, there's some risk associated with that, so, eh. Take my 1. That's fine. For the Saga token is a 1/1. Turns it into a 2/2 and means that it can potentially block. I'm fine with that. Aggressive Iteration, pretty good in this spot. Getting a Force of Will. Sure, that's fine. Other Dragon Rage Channeler is fine. Wow, did you have another bolt? I mean, show me. Yeah, they do have another bolt. Mystic Sanctuary going to exile that time. Take 1. That's fine. A little awkward. I think I still just make my token, though. 2/2. I will fetch the Grindstone here. I think that's better than Shadow Spear. And I will represent that kill a couple turns down the line. Like, the Shadow Spear is cool, but just... Ooh, but just eats up so much of my mana. I don't have the resources to play this currently. Just play a Painter, hope it resolves. I will pay for that with Lotus Petal, which slows me down. Alright, pay the 1. See if it resolves. It does. Everything's black. I'm not going to attack with this 3/3. I just want to hold this back so that I can block with it if I need to. Wasteland's scary. I can top deck an Ancient Tomb and just kill, though. Ledger Shredder is only hitting me for 1 as of right now. Yep. Play Pithing Needle. There is a Scalding Tarn in play that I can shut off. I don't think I care about that. I think I care about Wasteland. Like, I just win if I get to 3 mana as of right now. And I think I still just continue to hold this token back. My opponent just has the faster clock if they all-out attack. I don't know, they've used multiple Lightning Bolts already, right? Yeah, they've used 2 bolts already. Maybe it's fine. I'll do it. Alright, opponent just takes the hit, which is expected. Opponent just has so much selection with the Dragon Rage Channelers and Ledger Shredder. I am definitely worried about that. That's another Lightning Bolt. Yeah, so I take 2 extra damage for having made the attack since they found the 3rd Lightning Bolt. That's a little rough. I might not have a lot of time to draw towards mana, because I just win if I get to mana for Helm, but that's a big ask here with, like, Ledger Shredder potentially hitting me every turn. There are also worlds where opponent could just, like, find another Meltdown caliber card. Fourth fucking Lightning Bolt. That's rough. Taking 3, going to 7. I mean, I'll cast this, but it doesn't get me anywhere. My opponent just plays 2 cards and does, like, the Ledger Shredder thing this turn. Actually, they're really low on resources. That's probably not happening. Yeah, Expressive Iteration is very good here. Yeah. They just discarded a Meltdown. Well, I guess they can't keep it, right? They just physically cannot keep it. So I guess that's fine. Yeah, that's that fourth Lightning Bolt was pretty frustrating. Like, admittedly, opponent is through most of their deck, though, so, like, there is that. I'm just dead next turn, I believe, with 0 outs. Can't just, like, turn around and grindstone my opponent out now or anything. Yeah, I am dead. GG's. We end up with a 2-3 there. Although, honestly, I think a huge portion of the time we win that matchup. Like, the Leyline slowed my opponent's pace to an absolute crawl, but they did exceptionally well. Like, I think above average well in terms of finding answers at the exact time. Like, Meltdown +4 Lightning Bolts is brutal. Overall thoughts on the deck list? Like, not bad. Like, despite the fact that we have a negative finish, like a 2-3 finish, like, the deck list felt relatively reasonable. I don't know that this is the best mono black deck of this general design style, but, like, this general archetype and things like it have kind of proven themselves. I don't remember why those are over there, but let's move this back to just look at the numbers a little bit better. So, like, it has a good amount of mana acceleration in the form of Dark Ritual, Lotus Petal, Mox Opal, Tomb that allow you to power out the opposition agent earlier. I'm still a little unsure about sideboarding, and I'm unsure about, like, Helm of Obedience as a backup sideboard plan for these painter decks, because, like, Helm and Grindstone are both shut off by, like, Karn, Null Rod, Stony Silence, and I've run into that, like, multiple leagues where, like, that's a sideboard pivot, but it still gets hit by the same hate, so it's not good. Like, maybe I'm supposed to pivot entirely out of one of these combos in some cases, but then you, like, lose out on your goldfish density, which matters. Like Sudden Edict, I felt heavy on cards for the Delver type decks. So, like, that's a thing. Maybe you can do some cuts there, but I feel like this has reasonable game. This one gets a thumbs up from me. Good job in putting it together, Christian, and I hope you enjoy my tweaks. There's still room for some tweaking. Like, I don't think I activated a Wishclaw Talisman in the entire league. Maybe that one's better off as, like, the Profane Tutor or whatever it's called that I mentioned in the intro. Would be fine with that. You can also maybe cut one of these Urza Saga targets. Like, the Retrofitter Foundry and Shadowspear were both, like, I guess, and the Relic. These were all medium this league, because so frequently I was either fetching out mana or Grindstones to threaten a combo kill. So, like, I think there's room in refining this a little bit. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the like button on your way out. If you have any thoughts about the deck building, throw them in the comments. If you need to complain about Urza Saga, like, so be it. I get it. Have a great rest of the day. See ya!